So guys, I want to review the AEW Full Gear card, and I actually want to mention that I am going down to the Prudential Center this weekend, so I will be there, and I'll also just mention to you that I paid $550 for my ticket, so I really want to talk about this match card, and I'm also going to tell you if it's worth it or not, and I'm going to also, just tell you who I think is going to win as well, so, let's get through it. I'm going to just say this, that they're setting up Ricochet versus Takeshita. That's not been announced, but I really think they're going to have that match, and it's for the International Championship. I think if they do this match, I would see Takeshita winning because he's been champion for not that long, really. So I don't think that it'll be good to kind of put a title on Ricochet unless you... right now it's not good. You have to wait a little bit until, All In next year, so you can have, Ricochet versus Will Ospreay for a title. So the first match is Boom Boom AJ versus QT Marshall. First of all, I want to give Tony Khan and Boom Boom, whatever his name is, and QT Marshall and that kid, I want to give them all some Dr. David Schultz bitch slaps for this match because this is a retarded match, pardon my language, because nobody knows who the hell these guys are. This is not Mr. Beast. This is not my idea of taking the Peter Griffin impersonator and actually having him have a match because people know who Peter Griffin is. This is just, them saying, okay, well, this is funny. Professional wrestling is not serious. It's not serious. So we're going to have this match. Most people don't know who the fuck QT Marshall is. I think that, quite honestly, it may be one of those matches where I just get up and I just protested by walking out of while the match is going on because it's just too stupid. But I would say that if I was to make a prediction, I would say Boom Boom AJ would win. The reason why I would say that is because who the fuck is QT Marshall? Most people don't know who the fuck QT Marshall is. You can kind of afford to have a celebrity win, thinking that it's gonna boost that person's hype. Really, if you were doing something with QT Marshall, it would make sense. But since you're not doing anything with him, he can afford to take a loss. It would subvert expectations, so I predict that. The next match is MJF versus Roderick Strong. So, this is going to be a very interesting match. I feel 50-50 about this match. I would say 2 out of 5. Roderick Strong is not a appealing wrestler. MJF versus Adam Cole would sell money. Would make money for you guys. But, first of all, Roderick Strong, he looks like Johnny Knoxville. He sounds like Johnny Knoxville. He's not done anything major in AEW to make him a big deal. He's just, some ROH candy. So, again, I really think that what I want to see is that I think MJF is going to win this match, and that's going to happen, really. I do think that, it's a little concerning what they're going to do, because they could even do something like they could have... the Undisputed Kingdom and MJF join forces. But again, that'd be kind of stupid. They need to wrap this all up. So I think that a good World's End match would be MJF versus Adam Cole. That's the end of it. And it tells everybody now, as we go into 2025, this is the new direction, really. But I look forward to this match. MJF is always, great in the ring. So I really, really hope that this is a very competitive match. If it's something where it's it's like a squash match, or it's like a squash through interference, it'll be a letdown, really. But I really predict MJF to win this match. Jay White versus Adam Page. This is another match that I think is going to be good to watch, but it's a bad match because both these people can't afford to lose. I do think that the big problem is that you're going to have Jay White win this. And I think that's what they're going to do because Jay White's probably going to be in the Continental Classic. Remember what happened to Jay White last year? You did MJF versus Jay White, and MJF beat the one-legged man. So I think that, it's one of those things that, Adam Page can take a loss, even though he should not be taking losses. So I think that Jay White's going to win this. He's going to be in the Continental Classic. And then they're going to have to figure out something for Adam Page. The next match is the 4-way tag team match. I'm looking forward to this match. Max Caster is always fire on the microphone. And I'm also happy because last year they did a 4-way ladder match. So you can't do the same thing 2 years in a row. So I'm happy because the Outrunners get shine. The Acclaim get shine. The Kings of the Black Throne get shine. That's always really good. Private Party gets some shine. So it's really articulate to the audience, this is what your new tag team division is. So I'm very okay with this. And then also, these guys can kind of have stories and other things going on with them for a couple of months, really. So this is your tag team division, your trios division. I'm happy that none of these are like people doing double duty, really. So I'm okay with this match. 100%, I think Private Party's going to win this. I think that they just became champions. You don't want to make them transitional champions or paper champions. And I also appreciate Private Party. After they're watching these guys' matches, they're posing with the fans, they're trying to be a bigger deal. You have to reward that. It's like we're holding a title, but we're giving a fuck about being a champion. So you have to kind of make them, long-term champions. This is not the right time. I would say after Grand Slam or maybe Revolution, you can take the titles off of them if you don't have anything, if you don't have another team, really. And I also I think that at World's End, I want to see Brian Cage and Lance Archer versus Private Party. I think that would be a good match. If you want to give Brian Cage and Lance Archer the titles, it'd be like who's better, who can beat these two formidable guys. I have no problem with that. But for right now, I think that Private Party needs to hold these titles. Mercedes Moné versus Chris Statlander. Mercedes Moné is not compelling at all. 100%, I think Mercedes Moné is going to win because they're too stupid to realize that she's not making the money. If I was booking this match, Mercedes Moné loses and she goes home for a while because she comes back at Grand Slam. But I just think that she's not the right champion. She's not made the company money. She's getting like the royal treatment, and you're not really doing anything of her as an entitled bitch, really. Like, that's what you got to do. But I just don't feel she should be champion longer. But I know AEW books things. They will have Mercedes Moné win. But then it's like, again, you're in a tough situation. Who takes the title off of Mercedes Moné? Who in the women's division is going to step up, really? You can do Mercedes Moné versus Anna Jay at World's End. And I think that that'll be the match. The hard-working, badass woman who wants to make a name for herself, wants to Japan as well, and wants to make a name for herself. So I think if you get to Mercedes Moné versus Anna Jay at World's End, I think that would be the right match, the right story. Then you take the title off of Mercedes Moné because she's not drawing money. You got to get rid of her. The next match is Swerve versus Lashley. This is one of the matches I want to see. 100%, it's going to be Bobby Lashley. You can't have Bobby Lashley come in and lose his first match. The other problem is that Swerve is not a big muscular wrestler like Bobby Lashley. Swerve is kind of like, he looks a little bit like a doughboy, but he's a good high endurance former champion. This is going to be a really great match. But the problem is, as I said, you can't have Lashley come in and lose his first match. Because then what's going to happen next? Are you going to bring Marco Stunt and do a retirement match between Lashley and Marco Stunt? Or are you do Orange Cassidy versus Bobby Lashley, really? I think that if you have... And also tells a better story. What does Swerve do after losing to Lashley? Is he like, is he like a slave where he gets recruited? Or is it something where he says, you know what? I don't know where my career is going, but I wanted to go somewhere, so I'm going to work with Lashley and the Hurt Syndicate. So yeah, I just think that, Lashley's going to win this match. It's going to make him look strong and dominant. And you know what? Lashley, as a champion, would make money. So what would happen if you get Lashley versus Hobbs in the future? That would be a really fire match. But I think in order to get there, you got to have Lashley on a winning streak, So that's what you got to do. So I really think that he's going to win this one. The next match is Jack Perry versus Daniel Garcia. I really think that, first of all, I want to say that I'm really proud of both of them. They really give a fuck. They're doing a bunch of backstage segments. Even though Dan Garcia, he may come off as a little awkward because, he's jumping to be Mr. Super Intense, really. I really, really respect both of them. I really have a lot of respect for Jack Perry and Daniel Garcia because even after he came back with the CM Punk controversy, Jack Perry, he allowed himself to be lit on fire. He was almost lit on fire. He's been in the... Blood and Guts match. He's done a lot of spots. He's doing a bunch of stunts. He realizes, I think in his heart of hearts, he kind of realizes that he fucked up the company and he needs to start paying back, really. And he's really been paying back a lot. So I respect him for that. Daniel Garcia, he negotiated a better contract. He's not acting like Ricky Starks being home. He's not doing the MJF thing of getting massages and whatever and not being there. He's showing up to work. He's really giving a fuck. So I really in my heart of hearts, I respect both of them. This is a match that I want to see. I respect both of them. I do think that there's a couple of problems with this match. You don't know who's going to win this one, and I don't think that. I do think there's two outcomes. I think that I would put my money on Jack Perry to win this match, and I think what's going to happen is that MJF is going to screw over Daniel Garcia, so you get Daniel Garcia and MJF one more time at World's End, and then that's going to be the match that kind of puts a lot of energy and a momentum and a push on Daniel Garcia. I think that that's what they're going to do. But I do think that wholeheartedly, how should I kind of say this, that it's a lose-lose match because, both of them should be holding the title. But I really think that Daniel Garcia, you need to put a championship on him. But I think 100% Jack Perry's going to win. He's going to figure out a way to get out of this match. Or they're going to do MJF versus Daniel Garcia. And then eventually you're going to put a title on Daniel Garcia. But I'm predicting Jack Perry to win this. It's Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. This is a tough match to pick. 100%. This is a match I want to see. Kyle Fletcher has been stepping up. He's been doing a lot of really great shit. So I really think this is going to be a great match. I am predicting Kyle Fletcher to win this. I think for a couple of reasons. First of all, Will Ospreay is by himself. So I know he has like that guy from the Undisputed King, from the Undisputed, he has that guy from the United Empire, and then he also has Powerhouse Hobbs. But I can see them booking the match where it's Ospreay by himself, really. I also think Kyle Fletcher needs to win this match because he needs to be Ospreay clean because you have to make him a star. You can't, because then it's like, what do you do with Kyle Fletcher? Will Ospreay's more interesting if he loses this match and he kind of is like doubting himself. And then he has another match with another member of the Don Callis family. So I really think wholeheartedly, I think it benefits both people for Kyle Fletcher to win this match. I also will say that 100%, I do think that Kyle Fletcher's going to win this match. I think they're smart enough to do that. And then the other thing is that this is one of the matches that I do want to see. I think that this is also a very interesting match because Don Callis and Takeshita and Cage and Lance Archer, they can all beat down. They can kind of do a beat down on Ospreay, but they did that'll be bad because people like the Will Ospreay matches. And I like what they're doing with Ospreay. I give them a lot of respect for this. That they actually have Will Ospreay actually wrestling only on the pay-per-view. He should not be wrestling on television because that's too much overexposure for right now. I think the next couple of months, I think up until a Grand Slam, he should not be on television on wrestling because he's too good of an athlete. You make people pay for an Ospreay match. So that's what I gotta say. It's a match that I want to see, but I think Fletcher's gonna win. The last match I have on my card is Moxley versus Orange Cassidy. Once again, a bad match. They're trying to make Orange Cassidy a babyface, but it's like what I said. There's a couple of things that I would say that you're not gonna have unless Orange Cassidy blows my socks off tonight. There's gonna be nothing on television that's gonna make Orange Cassidy look like a vicious, badass motherfucker, unless he does something like beat the shit out of Cesaro and bloody him or Pac or whoever. You have to have Orange Cassidy go to that next level of a serious wrestler. And I think that the whole audience would be glued and captivated, but you're not going to, they're not going to do that with him. And that's what they need to do. The next thing is that, as I said, Orange Cassidy is not a good wrestler. He's a comedy wrestler. He's a bastardized Kenny Omega. He does the comedy kicks. This is almost like Eric Young, going from a dorky Eric Young to a serious Eric Young. This is going to be a, and then I also think they're trying to do this match to attract the kids. There's a lot of kids dressing up like Orange Cassidy. So I do think that, as I said, he also comes off as a very poor man's John Cena, like an F-grade John Cena, really. So he's not the right, he's not the right person to, he's not the right person. This is not the right match, really. And I also feel that if you make Orange Cassidy the AEW champion, it's going to cement AEW as a joke company. Because, again, you have Bobby Lashley, you have Moxley, you have Source Strickland, you have so many great stars, but you're going to have, Mr. Comedy Kicks on top of the company, really. So I do think that there's a couple of things that can happen in this match. My prediction is Mox is going to retain or Christian Cage is going to cash in his contract. Those are the two things that I think is going to happen. More than likely, Moxley is going to walk away the champion. Because there's nothing that Orange Cassidy has done, in my opinion, that says that he deserves it. And ultimately, it would be a very, 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 very stupid choice. It would be just as bad as if they had Hulk Hogan beat AJ Styles in TNA wrestling. It would be that type of really big stupidity. It would be if WWE said, fuck the fans, we're gonna have Batista versus Triple H instead of doing the triple threat match. This is the way for them to actually. Moxley has to retain. If you want AEW to fail, you're going to put the title on Orange Cassidy. He is not a champion. And that whole fucking stupid joke of, I'm going to win the title and I'm going to put it in my backpack. All that, that's just, he's not the right champion. Moxley has to win this match. Or you have Christian Cage cash it in. Or you can do something, and I don't agree with this, you have Orange Cassidy actually, win the title. Christian Cage cashes it in. And then you have Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, Jon Moxley, and Christian Cage in a fatal four-way, but that's going to be a big clusterfuck. So I really think that this is what you should do. You should have Moxley beat Orange Cassidy. He beats the shit out of Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy's like hospitalized. Then you get to Darby Allin versus Moxley, and you can even do something where Moxley takes it too far. Tony Khan says, "Okay, I'm stripping you of the title." And because you took it way too far, that was borderline murder. And then Christian says, okay, because now the title's vacated, I'm taking it. And Tony Khan's like, okay, well, I just want to teach you, Moxley a lesson. And then there you go. Then you stop the triple threat that way. A little bit of clusterfuck, but at least it gets it to that point. Or you have something where Christian Cage, wins it easily from Moxley or something like that. Like there's you have to set up World's End. The World's End needs to be Darby and Moxley, or Darby, Christian, and Moxley. But the way to get there is that Orange Cassidy needs to lose. He should not be the champion at this point. And I also think that you need Darby to become the AEW champion. Maybe at World's End, you can switch the title or something like that if it's not working out. But the reason why you have to make him the champion is because you had the Sting match. And you can bring in Sting as a special enforcer, because obviously the Sting retirement got a lot of attention, really. So this would be a good, full circle. And remember, the high point of AEW this year was all the way from the beginning all the way to the Sting retirement. So going full circle, going back to that, touching back on that is good. So the way to get there is you need to have Moxley versus Darby Allin. That's going to be the match that puts asses in the seat in Florida. Not Orange Cassidy versus Darby, or Orange Cassidy and Moxley rematch, or Orange Cassidy, Christian Cage, Moxley, and Darby. Orange Cassidy needs to lose this match. You need to do borderline murder on him. AEW is smart enough to know that Orange Cassidy is not a draw. So my prediction, 100%, it's going to be Jon motherfucking Moxley. And then the other thing that I'm going to say is that when I look at the show, it's definitely not worth my $550. I honestly think that, quite honestly, I wish that I was at home or in a hotel just paying for this pay-per-view. I wish I wasn't going there live. It feels like a big party, but with this match card, if I was just to go there through the match card, not the experience, I would not be going, really. I think with this match card, it's not an A, it's not an F, it's not a D. It's not a B. It's more like a C- to me. And I think the reason why I say C- is you have a joke match, a Big Boom. Who the fuck is he? You have Roderick Strong. It should be Adam Cole. Jay White and Adam Page is a repeat. Mercedes Moné and Chris Statlander. You got to have a women's match, or else people are going to be bitching. But they're not. I would rather see Anna Jay versus Mariah May and have that street fight. That's what they should have had on the show. That would have been better. And then all the other matches I'm okay with. Moxley and Orange, I'm not for that. But the matches that look good is a Fatal 4-Way, Swerve versus Lashley, Jack Perry versus Daniel Garcia, Will Ospreay, versus Kyle Fletcher, and if they have Ricochet versus Takashita. And they can also announce some other matches. I've said this before, they should be putting some Ring of Honor matches on the show to really advertise on the title and all that. And also, since you're going to have a Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor show, you need to kind of treat it like a big deal. So that's all I got to say. It's not the best show, but again, it's not going to be MJF versus it's not going to be Jay White versus a one-legged MJF like it did last year. So definitely, it is what it is. It's not the best card, but it's not completely horseshit.